Good evening. Good evening. Ha, yeah, that's great. All right. So anyway, welcome to Cookin' with Smokin' Bunny. Tonight's a very special Smokin' Bunny. The legal system doesn't force people to change their last wills and testaments when they end a relationship. So I got my ex-wife's body. Yep. And I'm gonna cook it for you, and I'm real excited to share this meal with you. Right now, I've had her laid out on the table for a couple minutes, and she stinks worse than she did in real life. And I mean that metaphorically. Okay, so welcome back. Some people like their game meat gamey. Rabbits are game meat like deer, antelope, elk, buffalo, iguana, and Komodo dragon. But I like to temper that gamey taste when I cook. So garlic has a good flavor to temper the gamey meat. That's why, you know, you have a lot of lamb. People put garlic on lamb. Lamb has that same flavor. Anyway, so it's that gamey taste. You know what I mean. And my ex-wife liked to play games. And so it's a good episode where we cook her and we temper that gaminess with a garlic and butter sauce. And right now I have the garlic in the butter, and it's cooking on low, and we're just gonna let it go for a while until the garlic gets soft, and then we'll take care of everything else, and then we'll put that over her body, and we'll roast her. Right? Okay. So anyway, you'll see. So I've showed you kids many times how to cut up an onion, right? Slice off the ends there, then you get the thing in the middle there. Slice that in half, right? And you take off these pieces here, the skins, and then you chop your thing up, right? You know how to do that. I've showed you. So if you don't know how to do it, go watch the other episodes, because we're going to move along here. There you go. It's chopped up like chunks. Okay, you get it? I know we're moving fast here, but there's a lot to talk about. We're going to chop up our celery here into chunky bits, right? You just chop it up like that, right? And that's it. There you go. So you see that there? I know it's a little blurry, but we wanted my ears in focus. So anyway, you want to cut that off. You don't like that bit. See that bit we're going to toss. But all the rest of it, just cut your chunks up. Now don't be scared of lemongrass. Lemongrass, it's just a plant that tastes like lemon. Come here, lemongrass. Come here. Anyway, lemongrass is just a plant that tastes like lemon. It's kind of rolly, so don't worry if it rolls around or rolls off the table. You just go pick it up. Oh, I can smell that lemon scent. Oh, that's gonna taste so good with the rabbit. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that smells good. Okay, so I bet you're wondering why I got a wet potato and a bowl of water. Well, I got them because potatoes lose their starch when you cut them up, and I gotta cut up the potato right now. Cause what we're gonna do, you see, is we're gonna make we're making a rabbit with lemongrass and garlic and onion and butter. Okay, and we're gonna throw some parsley in there later, and that'll taste really good. But you don't want to deal with the dead animal meat and then cut other things up. So I'm going to cut up the potato now, because I can't afford to buy a roasting rack. And so I'm going to cook the rabbit on the potato to save money and to show you that it's just that easy. Okay, so we'll go show you how to do that right now. So we're going to cut up our potato. Chunks like that, right? Yeah, there you go. Maybe a little bit bigger. Make them like that. Okay. There you go. Then you're going to take your potato over here, and you're going to plop it in the water there. garlic and butter sauce. Oh, kids, there she is. So beautiful. My ex-wife, much, much, much more beautiful without her fur than she ever was with it. So we're soaking her there in a bowl of water because you always want to soak your rabbit before you cook it. Rabbits are better, a little bit moist, especially the female ones, if you know what I mean. And also, you get all the juices out of it, and that we are dirty animals, and you don't want to deal too much with us unless you rinse us off first before you cook us. So that's what we got there. Now we're going to bread her, and then we're going to put her in the pan on top of the potatoes, and we're going to cook her. And she's going to taste great. We're going to roast her at 350, and that's the standard temperature you roast everything at, kids, okay? You put it on 350 and stick it in the oven and cook it until it's done, and you don't worry about it. I got friends that have timers. Those people, when they get married to their timers, they're not going to be able to cook their timers. No matter how much they love them to start, they'll never be able to eat them. There we get some matzo meal. Some you could use flour. You could use whatever you want. But you could use chopped up cardboard if you wanted to, and that's what some people say matzo meal is. But I like the way matzo meal got a little bit chunkier. It gives a good flavor. It's better than flour for me. I'm throwing lots of salt on there, kids. Lots of salt. Because remember, if you don't add salt, your food's gonna taste like mush. Right, lots of black pepper. It's garlic and butter sauce. And don't worry about the scum on top there or the color of the garlic. The color of the garlic is because we turned it over. We're cooking it on both sides and it gets a little brown there. That means it's softening up there. It's caramelizing itself in the butter. And the butter there is separating. That's what the scum on top is. You see, when butter gets confused, it needs to clarify things for itself. And heating it up confuses it. So when we heat the butter, it gets confused, it starts to separate. And that's what happens when butter clarifies things. So maybe butter, it's better off being confused, no matter what temperature it is, because then it'd stay together. Since 600 BC, people have been chopping the feet off of rabbits. They think it's good luck. I don't know. But that's why she doesn't have any feet. And she looks beautiful breaded that way. That's the way I should have dressed her years ago. That stuff down there, that's the stuff from inside her. It's mostly a liver, which surprisingly isn't full of holes. So we'll cook it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw her in the pan with the potatoes there. We're gonna cook her up. Okay, so there you go. If you're not rich enough to afford a roasting rack, then you're gonna get your potato chunks there, and that's what you're gonna cook. It's gonna cook her on, and then you're gonna slide all her livers down in there. Toss a celery and lemongrass in there, and we'll toss in an onion. You just toss it in there, kids. You don't worry about it. You just throw your stuff in there. Throw it in there. That's how you do it, yeah. And then you just throw her on top of it, right? Okay. Now I told you this was going to be easy, right? And so I told you that you didn't have to worry about it. And you see how we just threw everything in there? We got some flat leaf parsley here. Some people call it Italian parsley. I don't know. I just call it flat leaf because it's flat. It's got flat leaves. Right, kids? Flat leaves. Oh, now doesn't she look good all nestled down there? Oh, that looks really good. Let's add a little bit more parsley. Now you got your garlic and your butter there. So you're going to pour that in there. Right? Pour that in there. Pour that over her. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That looks good. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now, yeah, now she's all shiny and garlicky. That's the way you want her to look. You always want to remember to add salt, kids. Add lots of salt. Because if you don't add salt, your food's gonna taste like mush, kids. For those of you who were curious, right? See the garlic? It's all soft now. Soft garlic is good garlic. Okay, kids, so we're cooking my ex-wife, right? You got the oven on 350. We're just gonna stick her in there like that. We're gonna slowly braise her. That's the way to cook a lagomorph, because you don't want to gnaw on something when they get all gamey and meaty and chewy and hard, right? You want to cook her so she's soft and tender. That's what you want. You want to gnaw on something that's soft and tender. That's right, rabbits are lagomorphs. They're gnawing animals. That's why I use that phrase, so you'll understand what I mean. Do you understand what I mean? If not, you better watch a couple other episodes. Figure out who the hell I am, right? Okay, so anyway. Alright, so don't worry about it. Just cook, okay? Alright, yeah. In order for these things to cook, you see, you can't leave the oven door open. We'll be back in a minute, kids. Okay, so you gotta remember to baste it, right? You go here, you get your pan drippings, right? And you just spoon it over your rabbit there. And that'll keep it moist there, because you don't want it to burn on top. See, it's already getting a little crispy. You don't want it to burn. Okay, so you understand that. You're going to do that every once in a while, whenever you remember. Don't worry if you don't remember. It'll just be more crispy. That's okay. It'll still taste good, kids. You don't have to worry so much about what, this and that. You just take the pan dripping, scoop them on top of your rabbit there. Every time you remember, you go back and you check it. Oh, God, yeah. Doesn't that look good? Oh, she smells so much better than she did when she was alive. So, here, look, I cheated a little bit, kids, and I cut under there to see if she was ready before I took her out of the oven. You can see it's not red in there, right? Comes apart easily. Almost looks like a chicken. Well, that's important, you know, because anything that you could cook with a chicken, you could cook with a rabbit. So if you know how to cook chicken, you know how to cook rabbit. It's that simple, kids. There's nothing to be scared of. Just if you think of it like a bird, and she was a great dame. Not a dog, well, sometimes, but that was just for fun. Anyway, this is what she looks like now. She smells so much better than she did in real life. I wish I could push the scent through there. Push it through to you kids there so you could smell it too. Our potatoes, you can see, soft, falling apart. Got a nice little crispy crust of matzo meal on them. That's good, you see. You got the matzo meal crust here. It's making this sauce with the butter real thick. That's really good there, kids. There's nothing like having a cigarette after dealing with a hot woman. I never got much sleep when we first met, but now I know I'm gonna get sleep, 'cause when my stomach's full, I sleep better. And this is some good food, kids. It's not that hard. I showed you how. It's very easy. You just throw all the ingredients in the pan, toss them in there, and there's your rabbit. That's not the point of this episode, but I do have a surprise for you, kids. This is the first part of a 3-part episode in which I'll tell you how to utilize her carcass once we're done ripping the meat off it. So now we're gonna go have some rabbit flesh. Thank you for joining me on this very, very special to me episode of Cooking with Smokin' Bunny.